Hello again YouTube, it's been a while, hasn't it? 2 weeks in fact. And I'm back with another BattleBots video, and today we are going to be looking at the best looking returning BattleBots. In 2019, BattleBots is coming back itself. It's on June the 7th on the Discovery Channel. Don't miss it, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And I'm not exaggerating, because the robots are looking awesome once again. We already looked at the new robots like P1 and Foxtrot, but we haven't actually looked at some of the robots that were in the 2018 season or other previous seasons of BattleBots, like defending champion Bite Force and its awesome vertical spinner. Now, the new robots list was 5 robots because I couldn't find enough information about them, but this list is going to be much more detailed because they're robots that we've all seen before, and also there's more information about them because BattleBots has finally updated their website. So, jumping right into number 10, Lucky. No bias here at all, you know, I didn't make a tutorial about how to build Lucky or anything. So Lucky, it looks awesome. It's always looked awesome. That's because of its flipper. It's the main weapon, it's the primary weapon, and it's very powerful when it gets into play. It's also got the wedgelets at the front. I'm hoping they can swap that out for the plow that they used against Gigabyte and Lockjaw. And the wheels are still exposed, which could cause a problem, because Lucky was subject to losing drive. However, it amazed everyone in the Desperado tournament, even me, and I know how well it can do. It threw Gigabyte through the air many times until its self-righting pole broke. Unfortunately, it lost to Lockjaw. I think that's because they used the plow. I think they should keep that for the big spinners. Anyway, aside from the Desperado tournament, Lucky's sort of disappointed because it kept on losing drive. It lost drive against Scorpios, Reality. It was mauled by Son of Y Archie, but most robots would be mauled. So, a comparison of the two newest Luckies. The modern one looks like a race car, and that's because of all the sponsors on the side, I think. And the wheels. The wheels are different. So yeah, I think it just looks cooler, and if you notice on the back it has a little panel, so I think the flipping arm is shorter. Hopefully that will make it a bit more powerful and change the angle a little bit. But aside from that, it looks pretty much the same, and that's not a bad thing. There is it, flipping Scorpios. Number 9, Whiplash. Once again, not many changes to Whiplash externally. Internally, I don't know what they've done. If they've changed anything inside them, please tell me, because I'm not looking hard enough, and I can't see any changes to Whiplash other than the fact it is now covered in highlighter. So, it's got some new sponsors, which means they probably could upgrade some parts. That new spinner looks a bit different. Looks like it's got a chunkier tooth on it. So, anyway, in the 2018 season, Whiplash destroyed Hypothermia. They got destroyed by Tombstone. They flipped a warhead over, and they tipped a Mecha Rampage on their back. It's a very well-driven machine. It always has been, even when it was Splatter in the first 2 reboot seasons. And I think it could drive itself to another top 4, because, like I said, it's really well driven. And it's got 2 weapons, so if the spinner fails, then it can still use the lifter, and vice versa. So let's hope that it can do that. So, looking at the 2 Whiplashes, I hope you see what I mean. They don't look too different, apart from the highlighter. So, looks like they've got some new sponsors as well, and some new tyres, but that's it. The design is roughly the same. Number 8, Hypershock. To quote Patrick Robery, it looks like someone tried to rebuild the old Hypershock but lost some of the pieces on the way. Not gonna lie, that's how it looks, but that is not a bad thing, because Hypershock 2018 was awesome. It looked awesome. And this one looks even more awesome, I think. They've swapped out the little lifting forks for a big wedge on the front, and I think that's a good choice. That wedge looks very very strong. It looks like it's got good angles as well to deflect away spinners. It's got the same race car sort of theme, and I like race car themed robots, as you already know. Its spinner has changed though. It looks a bit lighter. It's much narrower because it's just a disc now. I guess it's a disc. It used to be a drum. And because of the lifting forks being removed, it now has some attachments on top that help it run upside down, sort of like Bite Force did in 2016. And so I'm guessing it can use the spinner to ram into a wall and self-right. So 2018 season Hypershock looked great, and against the cheeseburger, it did great. It split it open. In its other fights, though, it got completely destroyed. Mainly its thing is it's a very quick robot, which means its drive motors can burn out quite easily. Will Bales is a great driver. Remember, he took down that Warrior Clan drone with the rake, and so the driving's not the problem. I think the motors just needed a bit of upgrading. Anyway, here is the comparison between the two newest Hypershocks. And they look different but the same. Because you've got the same overall theme, the tyres and the yellow, the colour scheme, but that wedge at the front just changes the whole robot. And I think it's in with a much better chance now. Number 7. Deathroll. Deathroll, I remember seeing it in 2016 against Shredderator, and I loved it. I think it's so cool. I don't think this new Deathroll looks as good, mainly because of that weird self-righter on the back. I think that sort of spoils the robot. Not to say that it isn't a good robot though, it looks fantastic aside from that. The spinner is massive and chunky. I love the spikes and that camouflage theme. The wheels are inside it now so they won't get ripped off. Here is the original Deathroll fighting Shredderator. It lost this fight, but it put up a good one. I think they've protected their motor more now, and there's less parts for robots like that to rip off. So it also had an exhibition fight with Scorpius and Bucktooth Burl. I don't remember how it did. I think Scorpius won that, but I can't remember. So it also appeared in King of Bots as Great White. It looks exactly like Deathroll. Honestly, I can know nothing about Robot Combat and see that these are the same machines. Apparently did quite well. So, comparing the two Deathrolls, they look the same but different. The spinner, I think, is the same. The theme is obviously the same. The wheels look the same, but they're inside. It has many more wedgelets now. It looks like they've given the spinner more reach. They've got rid of the tail, made the whole thing a bit taller and wider. And if I'm honest, I prefer the old Deathroll, but this one is still good. Number 6. Duck. Aside from the controversy last year, Duck was an amazing robot by Hal Rucker and Hannah Rucker. It's well driven, you can't really kill it. It's got a lifter on the front, which can now go 360 degrees actually. It can twist the whole robot over, a bit like Breaker Box, which is why it has that pointy bit on top now, so it can also add as an axe concept to the robot. Its beak looks a bit pointier now, and I think it looks great. I'm also satisfied to see that some of its wheels are now protected by the plough and the plough supports, so Duck is looking awesome already. It amazed everyone in 2018. I mean, it won this Rumble against Free Shipping and Mecha Rampage. So nearly pulled off a victory against Tombstone. Lost to Bronco by being slotted like a piece of toast. And who else did it fight? I forget, I don't have a good memory. It lost the Last Chance Rumble. Obviously that was quite controversial, although I think it should have won. Anyway, it also had an exhibition match against Gigabyte. Some people might not know about this. It's on the BattleBots YouTube. It's a good match. You should go and watch it. And here is it. With its fight against Bronco, it drove quite well. To quote Hal Rucker, there was no way that they could beat Bronco. Bronco is quite a tough bot to immobilise with a spinner, let alone with a plough. So that was quite a tough matchup for them. I'm sure, because there are lots of spinners this season, that they will be able to make it to the top 16. So, comparing the two ducks, they look very similar, except obviously the chassis shape is different. Some completely different. So now the weapon motors are in between the front and back axles, and that means that the front wheels are protected. Looks much sharper. Number 5. Kraken. Wow, it was hard not to put this one first, because it looks like the most improved robot out of all of them, I think. It's a pneumatic crusher, which can produce 60,000 pounds of force, however that much is in kilograms, and it also has a flamethrower now. I was hoping that it had a flamethrower in the previous season, but I was disappointed, but now I'm not disappointed. Overall, the design looks the same, the crusher looks the same. I hope it has a lot more force, because it struggled to penetrate things a little bit last season. I love the colour scheme, the green on the black. I think it just works really, really well. And so here is the record of its fights. Beat Red Devil, lost to Lockjaw in the Desperado tournament. It had a rumble with Deviled Egg and Sharkoprian. It didn't do too well. It pulled off a few fights. I think it had a match against Chomp as well. So, comparing the Krakens, this one looks much scarier. Although the old one looks a bit mad, if I'm honest. The wedge at the front looks longer, but narrower as well. And the panels protecting the wheels from the front, they look different too. They look longer. So, I don't know if it can self-right or if it has a wheelie bar, because that was a problem last season. That cost them a few fights. But we'll have to see. We have a photo of it fighting Blacksmith and one of fighting Ribbot, and it looks like it's winning both of those matches, but I don't know. I haven't seen it. That's not a spoiler. Number 4. Petunia! Who doesn't love Petunia? Misha de Graaf, the Dutch team, Team PCP Robotics, I think. They built Petunia, and they built it again, and now it looks awesome. My god, it looks amazing. It's another crusher. This one's hydraulic, but it looks like it's got a much better angle for crushing now, sort of going downwards instead of going forwards. So that wedge as well, it looks so well engineered. That's to fit the hydraulic cylinder in, but it still looks very well engineered. It can self-right, and it just looks generally more threatening. That beak looks sharper and longer, and I love the design, the ironic name, everything about it. In 2018, it was good. It was very good. It beat Rotator by shaving its tyres on the kill saw. It lost to Yeti and Monsoon. It caught fire, and it set fire to Shredderator. Here is it fighting Monsoon. That's when it burst into flames, unfortunately. I really like Petunia, and I'm very confused about why it didn't get put into the Last Chance Rumble. If a robot with a 2-2 record like Petunia got put into the Rumble instead of, say, Bombshell with 0-4, then maybe the controversy would have been avoided altogether. So, comparing the two Petunias, this one looks like it has a higher centre of gravity. So that could be a problem if they get toppled over. It looks like it's going to do more damage. I think it's going to do very well. I think its fight record is going to end 3-1. I don't think it's going to handle the vertical spinners very well, because it's quite easy to knock over. So, I'm looking forward to seeing Petunia. That's one of my favourite robots from the 2018 season, so I'm really excited to see how it does. Number 3, Andgain. I couldn't find its official picture on the BattleBots website, so here it is. Andgain. It's now much cooler with sunglasses, and it hasn't changed much, but I think it still looks awesome. It still looked awesome before. Reminds me of Aftershock from Robot Wars, which actually also tried to apply for BattleBots, believe it or not. So it has a self-writer now. it was in one of the win and you're in matches from episode 17. It lost because it got flipped on its head by Warhawk. They have a self-righter now, those sunglasses, to avoid that happening again. And I am looking forward to seeing it. I think now that the main design flaw has been completely abolished, then it will have a very good chance of even winning the championship, actually, because it was very, very powerful. It took out Shredderator and Lockjaw, and because of this, it was awfully hyped up. So it lost its 2 fights against Bite Force and Son of Waiachi, not without ripping Brutus's face off in the process, in the win and you're in match. Comparing the two end games, probably more changes internally. I'm not a bot builder, I don't know, but those sunglasses are the obvious addition, and I think that's what's going to help Endgame. I wouldn't be surprised if this won the tournament, honestly. Those front panels, they look much larger and sturdier now. They're not part of the chassis. They're separate, so hopefully some of the shocks will be absorbed from them. Number 2. SubZero. Wow. I saw a picture for this before all the other robots, and I wasn't sure if it had been painted or not, and I was hoping that they would keep this sort of style, because it looks amazing. That is the 2016 SubZero fighting Ice Wave. It looks so different now. There it is fighting Red Devil, and I think the flipper has completely changed. And it got mullered by Huge, obviously. So, comparing the two SubZeros, they couldn't be more different, honestly. I know they're both flippers, and they both have 4 wheels, but they've changed the design so different, so well, I think. I think it looks much more built for the job, a bit like Bronco. Those rams inside it, they look much more efficient than the rams inside 2018 SubZero. Doesn't need separate self-righting arms now, so it can put all its weight into the flipper. And those panels at the front are going to deflect the spinners. Only thing though, its wheels are exposed. I think just keeping it like that, keeping it unpainted, I think that's the way to go. So I hope that's how it appears on TV. And finally, the best looking BattleBot from the new season is Witch Doctor. And I think most people will agree with me here, because this Witch Doctor, this version of Witch Doctor, wow. It's got everything that... How do I put this? 2018 Witch Doctor was good enough as it is, but they stepped their game up with this one. Those front panels especially, the metalwork is so smooth and so natural. And one great thing is that spinner now has more reach. It was kind of sitting behind the plough last season. Couldn't really get many good hits in, but the hits that it did get in were immense. It got hit by Yeti and pushed under the pulverizer, although it did manage to wreck Overhaul when it got a hit in with that vertical spinner. Now that the spinner has more reach, it won't need to push its opponent into a wall to get the spinner to make contact. And I've seen a video of it in the test box. You should definitely go watch that. It's on the Witch Doctor YouTube channel. It's self-righter works. The front wheels are covered up now, so they won't get taken off by Minotaur. Yeah, so there's the 2016 Witch Doctor. It's come a long way, hasn't it? It's just come such a long way. From that little box-shaped 4-wheel drive robot. It's still a 4-wheel drive robot, but the art that has gone into it, and the engineering is amazing from Andreas Suarez and the team. Comparing the two Witch Doctors, the two newest Witch Doctors, you can see the difference already. Like that front plough, it isn't blocking the weapon, the teeth are much bigger and chunkier, and I think it spins quicker as well. The main body of it looks the same. I think it was just those exterior touches that maybe broke Witch Doctor's season. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you sat through the whole video, then give yourself a thumbs up, because that was a long video, because there were lots of awesome BattleBots. Some unfortunately didn't make it onto the list. I wish I could put all of them on the list, but that would take too long. So thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Hexbug Heroes out!